All right, Ben Parker of CardinalSportsReport.com here with Stanford wide receivers coach Tyler Osborne. So first of all, let's talk about. Got to ask about Emmett Mosley, the performance he had. Just what's been kind of the kind of key to his kind of growth from what you've seen.
Yeah, he was injured in fall camp for pretty much the majority of fall camp. So, trying to get him back, kind of after that first bye week that we had earlier in the year and everything. And he's just gotten better and better every week. And I think when we saw him in the spring, we saw that he was going to be a really good player for us. I think that was very clear to us pretty early on. And so, yeah, it was cool to see him have a breakout game. He's been a guy that's, to be honest, he's done a lot of really good things in the games he's been playing in. It was just kind of one of those things where it just kind of all kind of came together for him, and got some targets and all that. And he's a really impressive kid, and I think he's got a really bright future.
And kind of what areas of his game do you feel are kind of his major kind of strength? Is it speed? Is it agility? Is it ball control? Kind of what are the specific aspects do you think really jump out with him?
Yeah, his change of direction is really good. His athleticism and fluidity and everything in terms of like his athleticism is very special. He's got a great burst, he's got great speed, all that, but he can stop on a dime, he can change direction. He does a great job of separating at the top of routes, catches the ball well. I mean, he does a lot of things that you look for in a receiver, and that was evident to us when we were recruiting him, and when he got here, we could tell that we were right in our recruiting eval, and he's got a really bright future.
How much does it help you guys to have kind of a second kind of guy that kind of takes some pressure off Ellick? Because a lot of teams have been keen on Ellick, but I got to worry about Mosley too. How much does that kind of help?
Yeah, it's obviously huge to get another guy that had a game like he did and production like he does, because then they can't lock into Ellick and cloud his side maybe as much and all that, because then you're obviously not having numbers at the field obviously to go cover most. But at the same time, I feel confident with the other guys in the room too. There's some other guys that have done some great things this year, and Ishmael Sissy, Tiger Bachmeyer, he had an injury early on in fall camp too, right, and came back, and he had a great year last year, right, and still doing some really good things out there, and so really happy with the room and everything. But yeah, it was great to see Mose have a game like he did last week, because I think that does take some attention away from Ellick, right, and kind of makes everybody have to play us a little bit differently.
Yeah, and you kind of mentioned Tiger, but just kind of talk about kind of his growth and development. Obviously, he had kind of a big block on that run that Mosley had, and also returning kicks and punts. Just talk about what he's been kind of able to bring for you guys this year.
Tiger's a really solid, consistent player. You always know what you're going to get with him. He's very detailed. He plays really hard. It matters a lot to him. And he's got great ball skills. Even this last game, he was running a lot faster than he had in previous games, which I think there was a little bit of confidence getting built with the injury that he was recovering from, like I said, back in the fall. So, he does a great job, and I think there's a lot of things, like you said, like that block he had on Mosley's touchdown, his first touchdown that he had. Mosley probably would not have scored if it wasn't for Tiger's block, right? So I think there's a lot of things that sometimes go unnoticed. Sometimes, when you watch these other teams play on their TV copies, they zoom in so far at the ball that you don't really see all the action that's going on with receivers down the field, whether it be routes, whether it be blocks. And Tiger's been a guy that's been, really consistent, doing a really good job, not only getting open, but down the field blocking. And so really proud of him and how he's attacked his role this year.
Yeah, and kind of what are your thoughts on Cal's defense? Just thoughts on the challenges that they pose for you guys.
Cal's very multiple on defense. They got some really good coaches over there on that side of the ball. I know a few of those guys, and they do a really good job schematically. Like I said, they're multiple. They do multiple different things from a front standpoint, a coverage standpoint, but they're really sound. So sometimes some teams that do a lot of things multiple on defense, right? They're kind of jack of all trades or master of none. These guys are a really impressive defense. They do a bunch of things schematically, right, that present challenges, but they're really sound. So it's always some tough sledding against them. You can just tell that by their stats, that they do a really good job, get a lot of picks, right? And so, it'll be a great challenge for our guys. I know they're fired up to get out there and go play. It'll be a good challenge. Like I said, it's a really good group of coaches over there and a bunch of good players.
Kind of final question for you, just kind of your second year here. Kind of what have you kind of maybe learned about this rivalry that you didn't know before you stepped into this coaching position?
Yeah, good question. I I'd probably thought it was going to be a little bit more friendly than it is. You know what I mean? In terms of like two Bay Area schools, like I don't know, both high academic, all that. But I mean, my first week through, right, I kind of realized I'm like, wow, there was a lot of hatred on both sides, for the other. And so that was very evident early on. And I think, there's a lot of great rivalries around the country. This is one of the best ones there is out there. And, I don't know if there's one thing specific, but I thought it might be a little bit more, just not as much hatred as there really is when you see the fans and the passion that they have for not only their team, but also for the other team not to do well. So that's probably the main thing.
Perfect. Well, thanks so much, Tyler, for taking the time, and best of luck against the Golden Bears on Saturday.
Absolutely. Appreciate it.